Yes.
Okay. All right, what up, Facebook?
This is live.
Yeah,
This is live.
What up, Facebook?
Hey, Facebook.
The moment you've all been waiting for, the sit down. This journey started a while ago, 8 years ago. Somebody gave me their login on Audible because you got to meet this guy, Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't have $20 for the book. Don't worry about it. Here's my login. Logged in, downloaded, put it on my iPod. Not to be confused with my iPad. So, all right, Facebook, we're going live. We're not going to be looking at you much here because we're.
Yeah,
we're already
Sorry,
rolling.
Facebook.
We're already rolling.
Yo, what up?
Yo, what's happening? Agent 2021, the inaugural, happening right here in the 305. Great choice of city, by the way.
I'm a big fan of Miami.
I thought Dolphins.
I mean, you know what's funny? The Dolphins have not been good for 20 years, so like my level of hate towards them is quite low. Dan Marino making me cry seems like so long ago that I struggle with hating the Dolphins too much.
We're getting and I mutual respect for the Jets. You still got my Jets bobblehead? Jets bobblehead. I don't make it on the Gary V show one day. So where did this whole idea come about? Agent 2021. I heard there was.
You're gonna love this.
Okay.
I went to 3 conferences in a row where I got paid an obnoxious amount of money to speak, 6 figures, and all 3 of them, in a 30-day period, said the same exact thing, which was, we're hanging out, and they're like, thanks for coming, and I'm like, thank you so much for having me. And they're like, yeah, you know, I've been following you for a year, and you keep saying Facebook ads work. So I was like, well, I can't afford Gary V for this conference, but wait a minute, what if I run Facebook ads against Gary V fans on Facebook and say he's speaking and try to sell tickets, and guess what, Gary, I'm paying you all this money, and I made a fucking fortune. And so the first guy was like, yeah, that's awesome. And then like the second guy was like, yeah, that's really cool. And the third guy, I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. And so literally, I'm not joking, after like this weird little moment where I was like, yeah, this is a little ridiculous. I'm renting, not owning. Yes, I'm getting paid incredible amounts of dollars to speak, but we have an experiential team. Kim Garcia, who her team put together here, is a beast. She knows what she's doing. She's done this before, like, and is really my homie. Like, I believe in her so much. I was like, we should start making our own events instead of producing clients' events. It's like a 1 + 1 = 3. And so we just started brainstorming. Then I was like, wow, we could probably get a really good deal in Dolphin Stadium since the owner of Dolphins is my business partner. You know, football stadiums are tricky, right? Unlike arenas, they're empty a lot. You know,
especially the Dolphin Stadium.
Yeah. But like, there's 8 home games. There's 10 Dolphin games that are played with preseason. And yes, of course, there's conference things but here we are, ridiculous venue, and so just a lot of serendipity that led to, and then more importantly, this whole real estate, travel agents, you know, auto dealers, insurance agents, just kept circling around. I knew that Crushing It, my book, was coming out. I couldn't believe 9 years later that what I was talking about was still relevant. There's still a huge land grab to build your personal brand. These are sectors where building your personal brand is interesting. It just kind of all came together like anything. And then you kind of sometimes just make a leap of faith and you're like, hey, let's do it. And here we are. And very honestly, it is, you know, I've been around this stuff long enough. This is gonna be wait to see how many people are here in 3 years. This is gonna have.
I look forward to being the MC next year. So.
Gotta throw in your right hooks when you can.
I learned from the best. So, like I was mentioning earlier, our story began about 8 years ago. We sat down about 7 years ago, right when Thank You Economy came out. And one of the first things we talked about when we sat down was that Crushing It had been out 18 months now. Now that people are executing on it, Thank You Economy was naturally the next step on here. Obviously, Jab, 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 Right Hook, Ask Gary V, and now Crushing It is coming out. The book, I guess, series, you could say, the Gary V book series is really unfolding and has all really become a blueprint.
Yeah, man, like, you know, it's crazy for a kid that, like, failed his English classes and really, I mean, the fact that I have not only 5 business books, but 5 New York Times best-selling business books is so laughable to me and all my teachers and my mom, and like the whole thing is incredibly interesting. But on the flip side, also makes sense, which is, look, I think I was very fortunate to figure out what I was good at. I was always this guy. I mentioned somewhere when we're here, I'm about to do a podcast with the kids I grew up with, who I don't really stay in touch with that much. You know, like from 1st grade to 8th grade, because I moved in 7th grade, right? And we're about to do a podcast. And like, just, we're on a text chain right now, Tyler's organizing it. And even the last 4 or 5 banters back and forth, I made a joke of like, guys, 70% of our childhood was business because I was always making you work. And I was trying to like get them in the right mind frame for the content because in my mind, maybe it was 50% because of how I remembered it. My one buddy jumps in, he goes, let's not kidding here, 90%. And then it kind of like forced me in the last 48 hours to be like, right man, like fuck, like we always just worked. Like we were raking leaves, singing Christmas carols, washing cars, selling lemonade, putting on flea markets. We built a haunted house. I built a miniature golf thing in the back of my friend's yard and then would sit on the street peddling $1 tickets. This is who I was. This was what I was born to do. Just like you can see Beyonce videos of a 4-year-old singing her ass off. If my family took pictures and we had this technology, I would be doing content right now of Throwback Thursday of 6-year-old me hustling. I found it, my space. Me having a successful career as being a communicator about business makes sense, but it is fun. And the books are special. Books are, you know, I put out content that reaches way more people than my books almost every week. A video here, an article there. But there's the girth, the physical nature of it is so tangible. I'm really excited about it.
Nobody throws books away. I learned that when I wrote mine. I don't even read books either. So that
you listen.
blows my mind when it comes to that. So your talk this morning
Yes.
completely off the normal Gary V keynote, which
you
was
think so?
100%. I've seen you talk more times than I can even remember, and it was different, and it was centric to the crowd that was here. It was, you know, you really need to stop pulling the wool over your eyes and really understand what it means to build a brand.
Instead of me answering, now that I'm being selfish, I apologize everybody, but it might be interesting for you, especially if you know who I am. If somebody said, if you went home tonight, like, it was different, and then they said, well, how was it different? How was it different?
It was different because it was an eye opener, but it wasn't a punch in the mouth. It was a hug with a slap in the back of the head, and it really resonated on here where you're not here. So, for instance, I had a couple prospects in the crowd. Just got done with your talk, and we sat down exactly a year ago to chat about it because I'm getting in the insurance alternative business. I don't know anything about branding. I go, you need to become Neil the insurance guy. That's all you need to focus on because you don't know if you're going to be with this company next month, next year. You need to build your brand. That was a year ago. You walked off the stage, you looked at me, he goes, I'm free money, call me tomorrow, I'm in. I go, you realize that was a year ago that we had a conversation. He goes, that talk sealed the deal. So I really think you anchored your message to the people that were either on the fence, had no idea that they should be off the fence, or already in the game, taking it to the next level.
You know, why I think I resonate is I talk about things I'm going through. I'm not guessing, I'm not educating, I'm living it, and then I'm living it quickly, and then I'm passing it on. And since I'm living it quickly, and first often, it feels smart. It's just because I'm a margin ahead. I woke up a year ago, 18 months ago, I was like, what if I just, and I did, and now it is in a totally different place. I mean, I've had all this success, and where I am in my professional career and awareness is so interesting to me. Like, I made a decision that I could overskew in young urban males because I think I am one, even though I don't look like one. The fact that Metro...
He's got his own sneaker.
The fact that Metro Boomin just texted me, he's like, yo, back from Paris, let's connect. And I don't know how many of you are into hip hop, but that's stupid. This is like one of the hottest producers who follows 21 people on Instagram, like lives that, like, I just knew it, and I just did it. And honestly, that's what I think is going on here. Like, I think, you've been doing this a long time, brother. You followed the blueprint very early on. I think you're probably in a weird place. I think you're actually probably in the place I was 18 months ago, which is, you've been in it early, the ups and downs, the slow marathon, and there's a lot of good that's come from it.
Sure.
I think what's scary to me is you and I get into a place, and anybody that's been doing it for a year or two or 3 or 4, where it's like, oh, okay, I'm destined for this. When you first started, you're like, social media, biggest fucking show in the world. And then life takes over.
Yeah.
And then everything gets kind of
The bow tie showed up.
I think what I'm excited about was, the talk was equally for you, which I think your viewership can be 11x, even though maybe growing at 1 to 4%, if you just fully understand what the fuck I was just talking about, which is, holy shit, this is so big that even though everybody's come in and started doing shit, all of it's still left. I can't wrap my head around that, guys. Even though there is like the Paul brothers and like all this stuff, like all of it's still left. There's so much money and attention still left in the system. That is sneakier for me and you than somebody new. She's new, well then it's like all seems open. For us, or somebody that's been trying it for a little while, it doesn't feel like that, but it is. And that's when I realized it, and I went in, and that's why I went from where I was to I'm in a totally different personal brand sphere than I was 18 months ago. The fact that my book is selling the way it's selling right now is batshit crazy. I put my whole life against Ask Gary Vee 18 months ago, 24 months ago? Do you know?
What?
Can you give me the fucking exact date? Ask Gary Vee. No, when did it come out, the book?
March 2016.
What's that?
March 2016.
March 2016.
Right before
22
South
months
by.
ago, I put my whole everything for 100 days in a row behind it, and it's not even remotely close to what my book's selling with right now, and I'm not doing anything.
I cleaned my bookshelves off on Saturday. I have 4 copies of Jab, 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 Right Hook on my bookshelf. Why? Because you emailed me and said, will you buy 8? And I said yes, and that's what happens when you build relationships and people pour into your life like this man has
Will
for
you
the
buy
past
9
8
copies
years.
of Crushing It?
Whatever you want, dude.
Yeah!
Whatever you... Speaking of that,
if he doesn't send me the receipt, I'm gonna put him on blast on the internet.
and that's a big blast, by the way.
Yes.
It really, really is. So we'll close things out
Yes.
with the new book.
Yes.
Crush It came out, opened my eyes. It's the reason you and I are sitting here right now. That's been out almost 10 years now. This
Yes.
is a follow-up to it. What can our viewers expect from Crushing It?
3 core things. 1, the strategy, the mental mindset of like what's happening, what you need to be thinking about, your self-esteem, your insecurities, your mindset, what's actually happening in the macro in human psychology. 2, stories. 13, 15, 22 stories of people that read the fucking first book, were living on their sister's couch, and now aren't. Like just real life, like, hey, it's not just about me, it's about a lot of other people. And then number 3, every platform that I think can do it for you, and my points of view and tactics, the details of Facebook and YouTube and podcasting that I think can do this for you.
Crushing It out next Wednesday, January 31st. You don't have to wait that long. You can go to
30th,
Amazon.
Tuesday the 30th.
Tuesday the 30th, that's what I meant. You can go to Amazon right now and pre-order it. Buy 10 or 15 copies. They make great Christmas gifts.
Or 9.
Gary, I love you, bro.
Love you more.
Appreciate you, man.
See ya.
Absolutely. Bye, guys.